Being so close to the finish line and some people's strategic implementations being thrown to the wayside and down the drain into the sewage and out into the oceans. It's a shame to see. Welcome back, y'all, to the DeAndre Way. Make sure to subscribe and comment, and like and all that good stuff. I can't even say my own name right, DeAndre Way. It's been a minute, y'all. I know, I've been busy this past week. I'm a couple days behind getting this Traitors review back up on board. It's just been a crazy week, y'all. I mean, I had to take care of some life things, you know what I mean? So, it got me a little behind on some other things that I wanted to get up, but we back on track. We finishing out the Traitors. I was I did go to the Survivor premiere party hosted by Wendell and Bryce in New York this past week, and it was lit. It was a lit time. Had great met some great people. Met Sari, met Jared from Big Brother, met what's his name? I met with the curly hair from the trade from not Traitors from Survivor and House of Villains. Johnny Fairplay, met him, and met some other other people, the fans and whatnot. So it was cool. It was cool. But that got me a little behind because then I was up late, and then the next day I'd be up late, and I wasn't able to catch the episode. Then I had visitors in town. It's just been a lot, y'all. It's been a lot. But we back on track. We got the last second to last episode wrapped up. The finale is next week, and we aren't going. So I decided we're not gonna cover Survivor because look, we got enough people covering Survivor. I'm not a Survivor aficionado or savant, and I'll just leave that to them. Maybe in the future, but this season I won't be covering Survivor. I might watch it. We'll see. I'm not the biggest Survivor fan per se, but I'll let the Survivor people cover the Survivor. They got plenty of them, plenty of those out there. Y'all check them out for sure. And we gonna come back here for my stuff. Specifically, finishing out this trader stuff, and then but we will be covering the Challenge All Stars 4. I'm very excited for that. That comes out April 10th on Paramount Plus, and best believe we gonna be with it, and it's gonna be hot on the skillet and ready to sizzle the bacon. If I said that right. But yes, we are going through this Traders season 2 episode 10 review, semi final episode per se. And also, before I get started, we'll become a patron slash or an member. A lot of different things you can become a member for $5 a month, exclusive content coming out, exclusive videos that you only can see being a member, and you help supporting your boy and to keep putting out that good quality work. And we gonna go bigger and better this year and stronger than ever. Make sure to check out the shorts I've been posting as well. Well, y'all, we gonna get into it, y'all. So, episode 10 called "Weight of the Deceit." We left off with being at the round table, and MJ is the deciding vote between Peter and Phaedra. Now, I couldn't see on the chalkboard in the last episode, but sadly, it had to be Peter. Mm, mm, mm. Stupid. You know, look, I I I I honestly don't get why they voted Peter. I mean, all the evidence pointed toward Phaedra. There was zero evidence pointed towards Peter. My inclination is they just did that because they're in this whole little Bravo alliance, and they say we're not going to vote each other out unless all evidence points otherwise, and all arrows point the other direction. After this, the ladies must have been looking stupid as hell because Peter has time in and time again pointed out every single traitor in the group, and he hasn't been wrong. He has not one person I believe he has openly accused, except for maybe his fake thing with Kevin, has been a traitor or hasn't not been a traitor. So this just was ridiculous. I feel like this is more of an alliance thing rather than I know that Phaedra's not a traitor thing. I feel like the majority of the ladies did think she was a traitor, but they just didn't want to go down that path because that's their friend, especially Shuri. MJ, I don't get it. She was chirping all episode how like, oh, I'm not succumb to voting anybody out. I can do whatever I want to do. Then why'd you vote Peter out? If you can just do what you want to do, you just following what everybody else is doing the whole time. So you're a hypocrite and being a contradictory train station right now. Doesn't make any sense. Peter gets up there, of course. He's shaking his head like I am, like we all should be at home. And he says, of course, I'm a faithful and walks out. He's just over it at this point. I'm like, look, he's just ready to get the hell up out of here, get out of there, get back to New York. Peter, I feel for you, bruh. I mean, they did you dirty. They played a feminist game in this and a feminist game when it comes to this portion of the show and picking you because I feel like it was just a jargon. Oh, he's a man. I'm not gonna get him out, or I'm gonna get him out because he's a man, essentially. Not even because they didn't believe him. I felt he was so believable. I mean, through the TV screen, you could see he believable. And Phaedra really wasn't saying much either. She was just taking it. And she was only accusing Peter of being a traitor because he was accusing her of being a traitor. If that's your biggest argument, then what the hell are you thinking? You know, like, I, I, I don't get it. They were blind. All the women were blind. Peter gets up out of there. He played a great game. He's been the best faithful I think the show has probably ever seen. And hopefully, people for next season learn from him and put his strategic implementation to use, and it can be used time in and time out again to help the faithfuls win. Because look, I don't really have a horse in the race. I want CT to win, yes, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, CT, you have to win, blah blah blah. I was like, if he loses, he loses. I just want to see good gameplay, and honestly, I prefer the faithful to win because it's a harder road traveled for them to win. The traitors, they can just hide behind cloaks and daggers and wall and flipped bookshelves and whatnot all day and all night. You know, the faithfuls are the ones that actually have to play a strong strategic game and have little room for error. The traders have a bunch of room for error because in any other turn they can have another twist given hand to them. They could recruit somebody else. They can just point some finger at anybody, and it just makes everything a mess. You know, so he played an amazing game. I'd give him like he probably was the strongest player this season by far. I'd say because if it wasn't for him, they probably still wouldn't even have got Dan out. Well, I'd say Trishelle would have pushed that, but they wouldn't have got Phaedra sent on. They wouldn't have gotten Parvati out. Like, it's a bunch of things. So, shouts out to Peter, man. He was a real one. He took care of business, and you know, it was good to see him on this show. It was good to see him. That's very telling of him growing as a person and whatnot from the Bachelor days and whatnot. I didn't watch his season of The Bachelor, but what I heard it wasn't too good. But anyways, we continue. We soon leave the round table, and Trishelle tells Sheree, Sandra, and Kate in the kitchen that she still thinks it's Phaedra, of course. I mean, all roads point to Phaedra. Just follow the yellow brick road, follow your nose, follow something, and it'll Phaedra. She says that the arguments to vote out Phaedra says the arguments to vote out her were weak and vague, and they weren't strong enough. Huh? They gave concrete evidence of what you have done. You're being quiet. You're being you're just her behavior patterns for one. Two, it's the patterns of what the other traders have done. Dan called out Parvati, or no, Dan called out Traitor, or Dan called out Traitor. Dan called out Phaedra. Parvati called out Phaedra. They were both traitors. Why would they just call out a random person, heavily and going at her hardcore? Because they want that lick back, because they're the first traders to get out the game. Something the last season's traders lacked. But yes, there's other evidence they had. It just went over everyone else's head because they're like, there's no way it could be Phaedra. She's my favorite person in here. Why would it ever be my favorite person? It doesn't matter who your favorite person, who your best friend is. I don't get the point. Everyone's saying, oh, I'm here to win. I don't care about friendship. I'm here to win. I'm here to win. You guys don't care to win because you're scared of voting out your friends because they could be traitors. So you're not putting it past your friend lying to your face. When if it was you, why don't you just put yourself in their shoes? If it was you that was a traitor, would you not lie to your friend who was a faithful? Sheree? Hmm? Would you not? Just wondering. Just wondering. Just wondering. It doesn't just trying to make it make sense. Just trying to make it make sense. MJ is so upset to have voted out another faithful. She's distraught and she just can't believe it. CT knows Phaedra has been good to him, but deep down, he knows that she is a traitor. He has to at this point. Him and Trishelle and John. Now there's only three of them left. Obviously, one of them is getting knocked off. CT has the shield, if you guys forgot, and so he's not getting voted out. Good for him, but because if I don't think he had the shield, he would be out next. It was him or John because they're just getting all the guys out, next and next and next. But they need CT for these missions. So if CT didn't have the shield and they voted him out, that would have been the dumbest thing ever because they wouldn't have got any money in the next mission. But we'll get there. We'll get there because they're getting out all the strong people for these missions. These missions are not no walk in the parks. They're physical missions, except for the bow and arrow one. A lot of them, jumping in the water and putting things together and puzzles and mazes and all these things. It's not for anybody and everybody to succeed in. I mean, the house, the mystery house, what's it called? The mission where they were in the house trying to the escape room house. All these are very physical. CT's dominating pretty much every single one. So without him, you guys prize pot would be just like this. So just think about that too as well. I know y'all want to get all the faithfuls out, but be smart in it. Be smart in it. Cherie still thinks that Phaedra is not a traitor after the round table. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Kate says Phaedra and the other traitors should have been smarter about their kills earlier in the game. She's right. She came in there. It was a hot mess. I mean, the room was pretty dirty, clothes all over the place, smelled nasty, looked dirty. No plausible explanation. A lot of the eliminations were emotional eliminations coming from Dan for the most part, and Parvati trying to kill Peter when she got it wrong, or Bergie, should I say. And it just wasn't much strategy behind it. They're traitors as well. Just like the faithful women don't want to cut their friends, the faithful traitor, the traitors, sorry, don't want to cut their friends, which I get it. You want an alliance, but you guys, if you want to blow the sense off of you, you got to eliminate somebody close who you think that the people think you're working with. You have to, because that would be a red flag on be like, oh, why would I eliminate my own friend? Why would I go after somebody who's working with me? Maybe it's you and find somebody who wasn't friends with that person and then flip it on them. You're going to have to sacrifice your friends at some point in this game if you are a traitor. So what's later rather than sooner going to do but, you know, make it harder for you? Hmm. I mean, if you have no friends and you're just eliminating random people, then you don't really have much blood on your hands. But if you have these friends, sorry, if you have a lot of friends and you're a traitor and you eliminate them, that could point less signs into being you, and you could act paranoid about being next because you were friends with the person who got eliminated. I mean, but nobody wants to do that. And I don't know if they got the rules mixed up, like, oh, the traitors can win as long with the faithful. Like, I don't get it. I don't know, but it is making no sense to me. But yes, soon the traitors get back in the turret, Kate and Phaedra, and they start talking about John and how he was talking too much and like, oh my gosh, get on with it because he has these long, monologues and speeches. He's rattling off like he's really at the round table back in the Stone Ages where all they had to do was tell stories. John was goofy to me at first. He was a weird casting choice, a weird character to bring to this show with all these people. But over time, I've grown to like John. I've grown to respect how he goes through with things. I don't really care for the whole Parliament thing, but I like how he was playing the game and he was doing his own thing and brought a very different element to the show. Very different. Along with him being older, but along with kind of his background working in Parliament and just the way he talks too, and says things. I think it's pretty funny. Now we get a cut down version of it, so he might be going on for many, 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 many minutes. So it could be tiring as well. So I don't blame them for getting rid of him, but at the same time, it just seemed like he even said himself, "Oh, if I'm eliminated, then Phaedra has to be a traitor." He said that himself. So why would you, Phaedra, decide to go after him after he said this to your face and to everybody to hear as well? You're setting yourself up. That's why she had no argument this past episode on why she shouldn't go home. I was just bamboozled. I was shocked. Like, You mean to tell me that the two people coming after you, I guess three, two out of three people come after you, two that are eligible to be killed off, you're gonna still go after them after they both said if I get killed, traitor. Phaedra is the traitor because they know that she couldn't turn on her friends. They know that they had this bond that wasn't gonna be broken. And you still didn't go against your friends after having that told to your face, specifically by John? You deserve to go home. You deserve to go home. People are like, well, who else was she eliminated? Anybody. Sheree, MJ, Sandra. I don't understand why they were off the table because they supported her. You think they're gonna continue to support you after all this stuff that went down? You think especially Sandra and MJ are gonna continue to support you? What kind of bond do you think y'all got? Sandra's from Survivor too. So like, what bond do you think you got? Why would you not eliminate her? That would blow the scent off your trail. You're not really losing a number. You could flip someone into making it think, oh, well, who didn't like Sandra? Let's think. Who didn't like Sandra? Maybe Trishelle or maybe MJ, since they had that falling out at the little uh, picking game and whatnot when they didn't let the faithful have a roundtable meeting. I mean, there's a bunch of different angles you could have went. If you picked Sheree, who didn't like Sheree? If you picked MJ, who didn't like MJ? But you didn't think about that. You just thought, oh, I'm mad at John Trishelle because they're sussing me out and they voted for me, so they got to go next. That's the dumbest game plan and strategy I've ever heard of because then it's obvious who the traitor is. It's certainly not CT, certainly not Trishelle, certainly not John. So it only leaves one person left. Like, y'all. This might be the second worst episode, if not the worst episode, just because of just the thought process behind these things. Like, and then she pretty much gave up this episode, which is ridiculous. But we'll get there. We'll get there. But yes, they're in the turret. Phaedra says it's between John and Trishelle because CT has a shield. Phaedra says, "I hope we made the right choice after they put their vote in, and that they need to break down that gang, the gang of three people now two, CT, Trishelle, and John. Oh, they're a gang. Come on, Phaedra. We know better. We know better than to use those terms and words. But if it's used against us, then we want to, cry about it. We can't be hypocrites now. We can't be hypocrites. We gotta be examples and take the higher road, you know. So her calling them a gang when it's literally they are not a majority, they're the minority. And just the whole verbiage of it, like, come on now. We know better. But yes, that's the end of the Traitors Turret meeting. It goes rather quickly. Obviously, Trishelle or John. So soon we get back to the breakfast meeting, and Sandra and MJ walk in first. They're together once again, like two peas in a pod. CT walks in next, and then Phaedra walks in right after him. And Phaedra says she generally likes CT, but she's gonna have to turn on him because he called her a traitor. Another dumb game plan. You're turning on the people who are openly going after you. That just gives everyone more reason. Well, they were openly going after them. It gotta be them because they saw them coming straight ahead. You gotta be smarter than that. You can't attack the enemy straight up like that. Those are old Persian tactics in the army. Those are British tactics in the Revolutionary War against America. What did America do? Start doing guerrilla warfare, going around, going from the sides. You can't just go straight up like these base tactics are going to work. They're just going to get a bunch of your men killed in the battlefield. Makes no sense. Makes zero sense. But yeah, and then CT, so when CT's in there, he's making all these like, oh, you must be a traitor joke, or else he's asking Phaedra, who do you think is a traitor? She ain't giving him nothing either. Phaedra, you just digging that hole 6 feet under, 6 feet wide, like you Stanley Yelnats. Come on, Phaedra, you better than this. What is going on? Did she know her time was up after last episode? Is she just doing whatever, saying whatever now? I don't get it. It's like literally she just was waving the white flag the whole episode. Ridiculous. But yes, CT says he thinks it's John that's going to be gone. Then Phaedra says, oh, I think it's going to be Trishelle. He looks at her like, well, of course a traitor would say that and not agree with the person who's actually going to be gone. Because if she's even said, if Phaedra even said, oh, I think it's going to be John too, that wouldn't necessarily give her away. Because why would a traitor admit to who they killed? They're going to admit to who they didn't kill and who they obviously know is coming back. Another rookie mistake. Yeah, she got so many mistakes at this point. Boy, she's staying after class throughout first recess, second recess, after school programs. Her parents are waiting on her in the parking lot at this point to pick her up from school. But yeah, CT asks Phaedra who she thinks is a traitor, and once again, she does not give him an answer. She just like, oh, like, come on, girl. Come on, Phaedra. We know what the deal is. Please. Please. So soon, Sheree walks in next, and MJ says if Trishelle or John does not walk in, then she knows Phaedra is a traitor. About time. Sandra says she keeps saying the whole time that, oh, it hears like a boy's knock. Oh, it hears like a girl's knock. Oh, that's a boy's knock. Oh, it's a girl's knock. I'm like, Sandra. I just thought it was funny. I mean, I, I don't, I don't know. That was just interesting that they kept that in there, but I don't know. But yes, Kate and Trishelle walk in last, so we find out that it is John that is murdered. He gets his notes, and he's upset, but he knew what time it was, and he just hopes everyone can understand who the next traitor is. It's got to be obvious at this point. I mean, a blind man could see who it is at this point. Kate says in the traitor's turret to Phaedra when they're debating on who to get rid of that getting rid of John is her best chance, and they basically agree to eliminate him because he talks a lot and he's demanding. That's your reasoning? That's your reasoning because John talks a lot and you're tired of hearing him talk and he's had too many words. Y'all petty as hell. They're petty. No strategic implementation, especially sad coming from Kate too, because she's played this game before. Come on, y'all. You're eliminating the most obvious person to be eliminated, and you're the prime suspect. So if you're Phaedra and say, "Oh, I'm gonna eliminate John because he's coming after me," and everybody knows he's coming after me, what's that gonna do once I eliminate him? What reaction are they gonna get from everybody? Are they gonna be surprised and shocked? No. So now who's it turned to? The person who was coming after him, or he was going after. I don't see how you couldn't think of anyone else. If you would have picked MJ, dang, that was random. Why if it okay, is it Phaedra? Is it Phaedra? Because they were working together. Or Sheree. What if it was Sheree? Wait, why would it be Phaedra? She eliminated her best friend? Then it can't be Phaedra. MJ? Or or maybe Sandra? Or maybe even CT. There's plenty of options, but you just handed them the freaking keys. Like it just made no sense. I can't, y'all. I can't. I'm losing myself in the music now. But yes. And so it's Kate. Kate, this is on your shoulders too, because you told her to pick John, which was ridiculous. And again, Phaedra's not making her own decision for herself. She's asking Kate, who do you think? And I'm like, Phaedra, this is on you, but it is what it is. So now the Peter pals are down to Trishelle, and that is it. So we had Peter, Kevin, John, Trishelle, Bergie, and they're all gone except for the last sole survivor. Jeezy settings. Sandra and MJ seem very upset that John is gone. They said, I wanted to talk to him before he I wanted to talk to him before he left. And this morning, well, y'all plenty of time to talk to him, but you didn't want to talk to him before, but now you want to talk to him that he's gone. That's how it is when people die too. I was like, oh, like I just wish I could spend some more time with him. I'm sad I didn't pick up the phone. Well, y'all had the chance, but y'all wait till they pass away from this earth to then realizing you should have spent more time. Key lesson, y'all. Don't wait till it's too late. Do it now. Call the person's missed call you missed now. Reply back to that text now because you never know what the future might hold. Hashtag just do it. Nike settings. And CT is the only guy left. Now, I predicted CT going pretty far. I want CT to win. But CT, he's good at these games, man. CT ain't playing. And I think he's still gonna win the game. I think he will. Barring some craziness going down. and Kate just wanting an all women's final. Like that's pretty much what's the only thing holding CT back from winning the game. But yeah, he's the last brother left. MJ tells Kate and Sheree, she brings them together, that they both need to vote Phaedra tonight. MJ sees the writing on the walls. She sees the lights. It's come to her, and she's trying to get Kate and Sheree to do the same. Kate, of course, the traitor, she knows. Sheree, she's still in doubts because that's her friend for 30 years, even though we're on a game show together. We're on a game show. My friend could never lie to me, even if you were a traitor. Phaedra or Sheree, just for 1 second, think if Phaedra was a traitor, do you think she would tell you? Yeah, she would tell me. Why would she tell you she was a traitor? Come on now. Come on. I don't get it. So then Kate's like, okay, I gotta help Phaedra out. Even Kate does more of a job of helping Phaedra out than Phaedra does helping Phaedra out. And Kate puts the emphasis on Sandra. Now she also does it for herself because once Phaedra's eventually gone, they gotta find somebody else to accuse. And she's just trying to put the air out on someone else. So I don't blame her for that. She picks Sandra essentially. MJ starts saying that Sandra is doing a lot of talking about nothing and throwing people under the bus. And she's telling this to Kate and Cherie. I don't know why MJ is going in on Sandra. Like, I sure she didn't get picked, but in the little pick 'em thing. But come on now, like this is your friend that you're working with. Now, like I said before, I won't be a hypocrite and say that it couldn't be Sandra, because they need to look at their friends too. But at this point, when Phaedra's still there should be nobody else you looking at but Phaedra. All eyes. That's it. Like that's it. And then it didn't make sense because she's listening to what Kate has to say when she hasn't even been there that long. Kate says it's time to go call out the girls. Um, and she heads outside to get to work because it could be her last. Sorry, not Kate. Who said that? Call the girl. Sandra. I think Sandra said it's time to go call out the girls because she needs to head outside and gets to work because it could be her last day. So Sandra goes outside and calls out Kate, Sheree, and MJ. And because they're talking about Sandra right now. They're talking about her, blah, blah, blah. She's the traitor. She's the traitor this. She walks up to them. And she's like, what's popping, y'all? How you doing? And they're like, oh, nothing, nothing. We're just having some tea and crumpets. It's like, whoa, so what are you talking about? Well, who we think you could be the traitor? And she's like, well, who is it? Crickets. Y'all, this scene is the funniest scene of the episode. They get quiet as a mouse. I mean, it's just awkward. They're like, it could be somebody, but we don't know who yet. We're trying to figure that out. Okay. Well, who do you guys think it could be? Somebody. Red flags. Throw up the red flag, Sandra. Come on, you play Survivor. You won it twice. You should know this. She been in the way for the game for a minute, but she got to she got to notice, man. It's plain as day. You know, you come in the room, people change the subject, get quiet. Probably talking about you. But yes, uh, MJ reassures Sheree that, or Sandra, that they don't want her to feel like an out. Or they talk to Trishelle soon. Jesus. Um, and Trishelle feels like an outsider on the women. She's the only one out there like voting against everyone else that's there. And Sandra and MJ and all the other girls, like they comfort her and saying like it's okay, like we're with you, we're not isolating you, this, that, and the third. And yeah, they just have a little talk right now, and then it's time for the next mission. So this mission, they must find these gold. It's very simple. Again, these missions, look, I like them because they're very easily understandable. They're not super complicated. A little, could have had a little bit more emphasis on the missions, I think, and give them a little bit more money. But anyways, they get there, they have this pile of mud, and there's gold nuggets in there, all total $30,000. And there's a shield. So they must dig through this mud path, get over these water, like, what do you call them? Float boards, wooden float boards, and get to the other side and ring the bell with the gold in their hands. And then that's how much money they get. So the mission starts. And they start digging through the mud hard as hell. Everyone's going crazy and throwing dirt in each other's faces. Nobody's really looking for the gold nuggets at this point. I mean, they see them putting it to the side, but they're looking for that shield. Everybody wants the shield because they know what time it is. The only person who really needs the shield is Trishelle and CT. They're the ones who really need it, but I digress. The other women, at this, the way the game is playing, they shouldn't be worried at all. There's no inclination why they should be, because the order of operations when it comes to murders has been kind of obvious at this point. But yes, soon they start digging through the mud, and MJ soon, or no, Sandra finds the no, MJ finds the shield. But then they get the gold and they start going across. And let me tell you, y'all, this was hilarious. Hilarious. The ladies kept going, boom, fall, boom, boom, fall, going, boom, fall, boom, 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 boom. It was like, y'all, this was hilarious. Uh, but yes, I mean, they just the way they fallen when it comes to Phaedra and MJ and Sandra and Kate, like, it's looking real bad right now for y'all. Y'all need to go back to yoga class or Pilates or the gym. I don't know what y'all need to do, but y'all need to get it together. These platforms ain't that far apart. And I mean, it's just like Jesus. I mean, it was a sad showing for them. It was a very sad showing. It was funny though. I ain't gonna lie. This was funny. I think they went a good like 10 times and they just fell every single time. But yeah, soon it's Trishelle's turn and she goes and makes it all the way across. You know, Trishelle did the challenge. She's done something like this before, similar. She should be decent at this. You know, at worst, I would hope Trishelle would make it. Even though she's older and it's been a long time since she's done the challenge, she has experience in this. This is somewhat her wheelhouse. And Kate said, you know, when she was going, she had great balance and she does good. And then as soon as she gets a little confident, she busts her ass and falls in the water as well. Y'all, they looking like people jumping off the Titanic at this point, trying to jump on the lifeboats, and they can't even make it through that. You know, when you got the lifeboat and you got the ship and you got that little edge in between, they falling through the middle edge. You know, they wouldn't have survived. But then it's time for CT's turn. CT gets the nuggets, got his feet together. He doing it like it's a walk in the park. CT's floating, he's gliding, he's seemingly less going through this obstacle course like it's nothing. I mean, he's already stumbles up a little bit sometimes, but CT, not a drop of water on him. I mean, he could have just done this in his regular clothes. Because I knew CT wasn't gonna fall. CT, you know, he's getting a little weight, but he wasn't gonna fall on this. He takes care of business. Him and Trishelle pretty much own this competition, win everybody else the money. I mean, they should both get immunity. I wish it was like who got the shield, whoever made it across first got the shield. That's pretty much how I feel about it. But it is what it is. Sanders should have gave her shield, or MJ should have gave her shield up to Trishelle. But it's a solo game, so I get why she didn't. But yeah, they was dominating, and they got pretty much every. I think they both got all the nuggets over. And MJ finally at the end in last seconds gets across and shows she gets the shield. And that's the mission. They get $30,000. Pretty funny, anticlimactic in my opinion, but funny mission as itself. And so they get back to the house, and once again we see Phaedra walking around looking the hallways trying to find where everybody at. I don't know how they keep showing Phaedra looking for people. I keep saying that again and again and again. It's like, are they using the same clips, or is Phaedra really not finding people and she's looking for people? I don't get it. You know, she's lost and looking for where's Waldo up in here. And yes, Sheree, she's just thinking to herself, she can't get over the fact that Phaedra could be a traitor. She's like, there's no way. We've known her for 30 years. This is my girl. She would never, ever, ever lie to me in a game worth this much money. She still wouldn't do it. Huh? Huh? And yes, Kate is on a mission now to get Sandra out instead of Phaedra. And Phaedra, we don't get to see Phaedra defending herself much and pointing the finger on somebody else. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't, but she doesn't really. I don't even hear her say a whole another name this entire episode, which is strange. I'm sure she would have said someone else's name, but we didn't get to see any of that. It's kind of weird. But yeah. So soon, Trishelle, Cherie, and Sandra, CT, and Kate, and MJ are talking outside, and Sandra decides So Trishelle, Cherie, CT, and Kate and MJ are talking outside, and Sandra. No, 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 no. Who was it? Sandra, CT, and Kate are no CT, Kate, and MJ are talking outside. Jeez, I couldn't get it together. Kate, MJ, and CT are talking outside. So Sandra decides to go outside, see what's going on, and everyone. It kind of happens like it happened earlier. They fold their answers. Kate doesn't give who the clear number two is behind Phaedra is. Um, but they're thinking like maybe we should find this second traitor first and then get Phaedra out because we know who it is for a fact. Kate, you're doing a lot of talking right now, Kate. You're doing a lot of talking. You ain't doing yourself no favors. Kate, you see that Phaedra's a sinking ship right now. If she can't save herself, why the hell? You think she would go out her way to save you? But she's trying to go out her way to save her? Look, that's nice and noble of her, but come on, Kate. You got to just let her stand on her own 2 feet. Because if you're doing this, you're putting your own game in danger. You're putting yourself at risk. So why do this? Why do this? So soon, Cherie sits down with Phaedra and they have a one-on-one. It's kind of time to see what's really popping with each one of them. And they're having a conversation about trying to get to the bottom of if Phaedra is a traitor or not on Cherie's side. So she's looking at her like, look, girl, I know you for 30 years. We've been in this house working together with these people. And I just got to know, are you a traitor? Phaedra's like, huh? What, huh? And then Cherie's like, look at me. Are you a traitor? She gives it that Darth Vader breath. And I ain't gonna lie, she got me a little intimidated when she did that. She had me a little shook. I was like, oh snap, I didn't know she had this side. I just side to her. And Phaedra like, uh, no, I'm not. Unconvincingly to the audience. But she says no. And Sheree's like, okay. But I feel like we missed a lot in that conversation because she's giving her these looks. Like, just tell me and it'll be okay. And I'll share some of the money with you, girl. But yeah, she says no. And even though she looked shook, and yeah, that's about it. They finish that conversation up, and then it's time for the roundtable meeting. So we get there. Trishelle starts the conversation, and she goes against Phaedra, of course, saying that every faithful that showed their chalkboard said that we're gonna see you guys. We're gonna see if you guys are gonna make a mistake saying that they're the faithfuls, and the only people that didn't do that were the traitors. So like Kevin or not, like Kevin and no, like Janelle, um, uh, what's her name? Blueprint. What the heck? The drag queen's name. Who else got eliminated from the round table? Janelle. I'm forgetting. Peter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They all said like, look, y'all, this is what it is. We're not traders, and you're gonna see clear as day. But but Dan and Parvati did not. They just got up and went up there. They didn't even give them no conviction before they got voted out. So that's her argument. Trishelle says Phaedra was silent when people had her name up, and that was very telling. She wasn't defending herself like a normal faithful would have, and that's what time it was. And Phaedra says that's the craziest argument in the world, and I've never heard something so ludicrous. Well, then can you present something then? Well, I don't need to. I don't want to put people's names out. All right, we're done here. Sandra also says it's going to kill her if Phaedra ends up being a traitor, but the signs are all there. Phaedra says, you have nothing concrete against me to put my name down. Then who else, Phaedra? Then who else? I'm so tired of seeing online, Phaedra's the best traitor ever. Oh my gosh, stop kissing her ass. Please. Like, can we please just get people back to owning what they do and give them not let the diametrics and the identity politics play a part in who we think is good and who we think isn't. Yeah, she can dress good. I got it. Yeah, she has witty comeback lines and she's funny. Okay. But what did her gameplay do? Nothing. I mean, even when Kate got in there, she was asking her what to do. So it's just, I don't get it. I understand, but it's just a saying. I don't get it. People are pandering to Phaedra at this point online. Phaedra really doesn't have anything to say. She's given the floor, but she says, "Look, y'all." They're like, "Phaedra, do you got anything to say?" Oh, I'm exhausted, and I'm at a point where I'm just tired of fighting. Huh? So you're just gonna give up? So you're just gonna give up? Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. You're gonna give up. You're gonna give up because you have no game plan, because you don't know what to do, because you're lost and confused without Dan and Parvati or any kind of somebody else taking the reins from you and you having to carry any kind of weight on your shoulders. That's what it is. That's what it seems. I'm not trying to come at Phaedra. It's not a Phaedra attack. I like Phaedra. I do. I'm rooting for her. I rooted for her. But the way she's playing is just not fun to watch. She's not making any moves. She's not owning any moves. She's not taking prowess of anything. She's not taking control. She's just throwing her hands up and saying it is what it is. I don't want to see it. I mean, I'm not going to give praise to someone who just shows up to the party. You got to bring snacks. You got to bring soda. You got to bring alcohol. You got to bring something to the party. You can't just show up and that be everything, when it's BYOB. But you want to drink from everyone else's cup. You want to eat everyone else's snacks. But then people that come to you say, "Oh, what happened?" I don't want to talk about it. What? It's dangerous. Don't be fooled. Open your eyes up because y'all getting fooled just like Sheree and MJ and Sandra were this whole entire season. You got to wake up. She just says nothing, and then Kate is pissed off at this point too because Phaedra's not fighting for herself, and she's been defending her this whole time. So Kate's even like, "Look, I can't do it no more. I can't defend you no more from these wolves. All right, I'm just gonna have to open the cage and just let them through and just go after you." And it's very kind of an anticlimactic roundtable. People are coming at Phaedra. Phaedra's not really doing anything. She's just sitting there and taking it. And I'm like, why would you not defend yourself? All that you did last night about getting rid of John, all you've been working towards this point, and then you just don't say anything and just lay down. She wasn't meant for the show. She wasn't made for the show. So yes, it's time for finally time for the votes. And Sheree finally votes for Phaedra. Finally. I mean, she's emotional about it, but she does it. Kate votes for Phaedra. Smart. Kate says she's more selfish than skillful. Now, Kate, you gotta watch your mouth here. You might be giving yourself up a little bit. Because people are like, why would she say that about Phaedra, that she's selfish? Why? And it's not fun to play games with people like that. So she goes in on her a little bit. MJ votes for Phaedra. Phaedra voted for CT because she's with girl power. Okay. Whatever. Sandra voted for Phaedra. Trishelle voted for Phaedra. CT voted for Phaedra. And overall, they gave her a very nice exit. They're giving her compliments on the way out, pandering, this, that, and the third. And lo and behold, Phaedra is a faithful traitor. And she's out the game. So Phaedra is finally out the castle. All three original traitors are gone, and all we have left is Kate at this point. And yes, and then we get to the last part where Sandra confronts Kate about attacking Phaedra, and she says it wasn't comfortable, but now she's thinking maybe Kate could be a traitor. So come on, Sandra, come on, use that survivor brain, use it now. But that's the end of the episode. We get to the finale next week. I am so excited. This episode, not the best episode to be honest with you. It was just not much went down to be honest. That was surprising at all. I mean, I didn't want Peter to go home, but once he was gone, I knew John and Trishelle was gone, and then Phaedra had to go home next. Like it was obvious. If they didn't get her out, then I probably wouldn't have watched the finale to be honest with y'all. But yes, Phaedra's gone, Dan's gone, Parvati's gone, Kate is the last one. I hope they don't give her the option that they gave Phaedra and pick a trade another traitor. They need to get rid of that. That I don't need to see no more traitors because the game's over. There shouldn't you can't be a traitor for the finale and that's it. That would be ridiculous. Ridiculous because it's impossible to win as a faithful at that. Impossible. 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 It's impossible. So let the game commence. I don't know what the finale is going to look like. If they're going to give them hints, clues, this, that, and the third, another mission per se, but we'll see. And yeah, I'm rooting for CT to win the game. Clearly, he's holding it down for the challenge. And jeez, and Trishelle too. Trishelle's been playing the admirable game. I like what she's been doing. And then other than that, that's it. You know, I mean, anybody else wins, whoever wins. I mean, Phaedra's out, so I really don't have a big horse I'm pushing for, but we'll see what goes down, y'all. It's been fun season covering this show. Like I said, we got the Challenge All Stars coming in a few weeks. It's been a ride. It has been, but we making it through, y'all. We making it through. We in almost in springtime as well, so we can finally get the coats and heavy jackets off and really start diving into some good stuff. You know, we got I will say coming up, we have a few events that I'm going to cover. We have a Survivor Squid Game semi reunion thing, this charity event going on in Philly next weekend that I will do a vlog over. So check it out. It's coming, as well as a basketball game headed to Villanova versus Creighton in Philly. Then we have the drafts coming up, one of my favorite events. It'll be lit. Then we have a what else do we got coming up? We got we got something else coming up. I can't remember what it is. Oh, we got the Mizzou spring game for all you Mizzou Tiger fans out there, and maybe hit the Big 12 tournament as well. Maybe this women's soccer game. We'll see. But yeah, y'all, we got some stuff coming up in the next coming months, and J Cole Festival in North Carolina. But yeah, y'all. Till then, we'll focus on this finale, and till next time, y'all. Peace and blessings, and I hope you have a good rest of